Hey friends, this is Mark Hallock, and I want to personally invite you to our biggest event of the year, the 2026 Replant Summit, August 25th and 26th in Alpharetta, Georgia. Now, this year's theme is Every Church Matters, Mobilized, Multiplied, because we believe God is not finished with struggling churches. You'll be encouraged through practical sessions on discipleship, community engagement, church renewal, multiplication, and more. Plus, you'll connect with pastors and leaders who understand both the challenges and the joys of the work of church renewal. Now, space is filling up quickly, so reserve your spot today. We would love to see you at the Replant Summit. Register at churchreplanters.com.
Welcome to Revitalize and Replant with Mark Clifton and Mark Hallock, where we equip pastors to take their churches from declining to thriving by pointing them to a new future and a new hope. Join us weekly for encouragement and practical advice in your pastoring journey.
Here we are in the hallowed halls of Fellowship West. Now, this is a church in Kansas City, Kansas. And they've invited us to come down and use this. They've got a great little podcast studio here that they just built just a few weeks ago. And so they've invited us to be here. This is Revitalize and Replant with Mark Clifton.
Hey.
And Mark Hallock.
Hey, guys.
I'm Dan Hurst.
Hey.
Kyle Bierman is here.
Hey.
And last time we started
By the way, we're using new microphones.
Which
We're
pretty excited
New
about.
microphones are little tiny things that hook onto your clothes, right? But I keep touching mine.
He takes his shirt off, he puts his shirt on, he takes his hat off, he puts
So the last episode, if you listen to the last episode, which was some on Deacons, I don't know where it was. You put the little clip on my bill of my hat.
Yeah,
that way I wouldn't touch it, right? But then during the podcast, I took my hat off.
We're all looking at Clifton. It's like, dude, your hat is off at this point.
So, if my audio is bad, it's not anybody's fault but mine. I use my hands all the time. I'm always unbuttoning my shirt. Now I have an undershirt on,
Which is good.
Oh,
so when I say unbuttoning my shirt,
tell them what the shirt says.
The shirt says this meeting could have been a fist fight.
Does it have a church name on it somewhere?
Speaking of deacons.
Hey, yeah, by the way, you ever heard that story of Charles Stanley when the deacon came up, punched him?
No.
It's in the beginning of Andy Stanley wrote this book on, it's on integrity. His opening illustration is this congregational meeting, and this deacon smacks his dad.
Oh my goodness.
Punched him.
Oh my goodness.
And everybody's waiting to see what he's going to do. And the point is, in that one act, it showed his dad's integrity, and it revealed this man. Anyway, so I hope you don't have a deacon that punches you.
Yeah, really. That would not be good.
That'd be tough.
That'd be awful. Okay, so last episode, we looked at how do you select deacons, the qualifications.
Yep.
Right? This episode, developing.
That's right. How do we develop and equip deacons
This is really
in our
important.
ministry? This is really important stuff.
And here's a key thing. Most of you already have deacons.
Most of you do.
Yep.
And so you're realizing, well, in some senses, you have to redevelop and re-equip them.
So we're going to got 5 things.
Yeah.
We're real clear on this one.
And even though people may not have listened to the last episode, you should. But I do want to make it clear that we said, and you said it was really important, deacons are a biblical office.
Yes.
As are pastors.
Yes.
And they are not in competition with each other. And if you have elders are not the varsity and deacons junior varsity.
That's right.
They work together. They have separate responsibilities, but they're equally important.
Equally important. I mean, it's like having a football team. If you only have an offense and no defense, I mean, it's like we've got
That's
to.
right.
If we're going to win games, we're going to be most effective.
That's right.
We need both of these
Right.
roles. So we're going to talk about how to develop and equip deacons. So here's the first thing: churches should intentionally train and disciple deacons rather than simply appointing them to a position.
Which is oftentimes what we do. Oftentimes, some of you guys listening, your churches, if you need a deacon, you do deacon nominations. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's just from the floor. I mean, literally, anybody wants to nominate somebody,
just throw a name out.
Throw a name out there. And how do you select them? And how are they nominated? And what's that process like?
Well, and who's going to say no? I mean, let's be honest. In that setting, you're going to feel bad saying no to. I mean, you know what I mean? Anyway, what you were
But
gonna
that's
say-
where you need to have your. It's basically a deacon in training.
Yeah.
Where deacons, you can appoint a deacon, but they don't actually become an
That's
official
right.
deacon
Yep.
for a year, perhaps.
That's right. We have, in fact, at our church, that's what we do. We have a year long. We still use the old school title, yoke fellow.
Really?
Yeah. So the yoke fellows are deacons in training, but it's a year long process of being trained, understanding what a deacon is, being mentored by a deacon. It gives us a chance to watch the character of a deacon before they actually become.
Now,
Do some never make it?
Some don't make it. That's right.
And
Yep.
if-
We
what-
evaluate actually the halfway point and then the end of the year.
And what we're talking about, if you are in a church where it's been a history of deacon nominations from the floor, it's one of those things you probably can't change overnight, nor should you try. It's very much ingrained in who this church is. So you go ahead and take the deacon nominations from the floor if you need to, and then hopefully you can share them with your deacon body, right?
yeah.
And then from that, your deacon body can kind of know what these men are like, and they can select one or two perhaps from that. And what you can say is, how come you didn't take all of them? Well, we're just looking for one right now.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you do need 3 or 4,
Right.
but you realize there's only one good candidate in this. So rather than say, well, there's only one good candidate, we say we're only taking one at a time.
Yeah.
Just be gracious and patient. It can be problematic. Even at Warnell, the church I replanted in, a decade ago, we had a situation where we needed deacons, and there was a small group of people that nominated a guy. We didn't ask him to nominate. They just said, "Hey, we think he needs to be a deacon." And his wife was among one of the biggest proponents of that.
Sure. Yep.
And we looked at it and go, probably not. And to be frank about it, they got very angry and they left the church. And some people left with them. I'm sorry, but that's going to happen from time to time. And better that than make him a deacon, right? And just to keep them from leaving the church. Again, you can't make decisions based on keeping people from leaving. But I can understand some of you who go through this challenge. You got a strong family in your church, and they think their dad needs to be a deacon. How do you say, nope, he doesn't qualify? It's easy for us on a podcast to talk about this, but in the real life, it can be really challenging.
Can be really challenging.
Yep.
It's right.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so number one is we've got to intentionally train a disciple. Number two, deacons need a clear vision for the mission, the culture, and the ministry philosophy of the church.
Boy, that's it.
And this is where pastors have got to this. We talk about in church revitalization being a visionary shepherd, right? You've got to shepherd. You've got to love people well, but you also have to be a visionary. You've got to lead with some vision, because if your deacons, if your core leaders are not on the same page in terms of, hey, this is where we're going as a church. This is what we value. This is what we feel like God is calling us to be about. This is the vision. If they're not bought into that, if they don't understand it, it's one thing. They need to be educated. But if they're not bought into it, this isn't going to work. Like, you can't have deacons that are undermining or not on board with the overall direction of this church. If you're sitting there going, we have got to reach this community with the gospel. We are surrounded by people, young people who do not know Christ. And you've got a deacon who, quite frankly, sees the community as the enemy. Well, this isn't going to work very well. So again, this is where they have to understand and be clear on the vision.
Let me interrupt you, though. It's not only that he sees the vision and the mission, but that he understands that he is part of it.
Exactly. That's right.
As opposed to say, well, this is your job to go out and reach the lost.
Helping to carry it out.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's
Helping
his
to carry it
job.
out. That's right. Number 3. So here's the third one. And we can riff on this for a little bit, Clifton. Healthy deacons should be equipped to shepherd, encourage, pray for, and care for people well. This is what you were kind of getting at last episode.
Right. They're not required to teach.
That's right.
And so it's a great ministry for someone who's not comfortable in front of a large group of people, not comfortable reading in public or teaching in public, but incredibly comfortable caring for people and loving people and being kind and compassionate and very humble and maybe very quiet.
Yeah.
The idea that your deacons have to be some sort of leaders, strong leaders who can, no, that they really don't. They have to be servants.
Boy, that's good, man.
And
That is true.
even the scripture says they don't have to be able to teach.
Yeah.
And so you've got some wonderfully sweet, kind, compassionate men in your church who could really fulfill this.
Yeah.
And maybe you wouldn't put them up on the platform. Maybe you wouldn't give them a Sunday school class to teach. But that's not what they're asked to
Dude,
do.
and that's why understanding the difference between pastor, elder, and deacon is so important.
It is very
Because
different.
if we're trying to apply expectations and qualifications of a pastor to a deacon,
That's right.
we're missing it. They're two different types of men.
Completely missing it. And as we said before, you want someone that when he walks in the room, just his presence makes people feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Just even his expression on his face just makes people.
Yes, yes.
I got to be careful. There's some pastors that I know they love people and I know they love Jesus, but there's some friends of mine that they just scary looking, man.
You look mad all the
You look
time. I
mad all
know,
the
I
time.
know.
So one day posted a profile picture of himself on Facebook the other day. He looks like he's totally mad at the whole world. I'm thinking, this is your profile picture?
Yeah. This is what you want to put out there?
Is this your happy face? I mean, please.
It's true. It's true, man.
True.
Yeah.
And so they don't even know it.
No, I know.
And so
Well, that's part of the equipping and training. Honestly, one of the
Yeah.
things you've got to do with deacons, you got to do with all leaders, is you have to talk about growing in self-awareness
Yes.
and emotional intelligence. You have to do it. Because here's the thing, a lot of guys, they're just maybe their heart is great, but they don't know that their face, they look ticked off all the time.
Right.
You've got to help them see.
or that they, like I just did, that
Yeah.
they finish sentences for somebody else.
There you go. Yeah,
That
there
they
you
just
go.
interrupt like I do in this
Just
podcast
constant.
all the time.
Yeah.
You know, so are they listening or are they always speaking?
Right.
Those kind. And
It's
you want a deacon who listens to people.
That's right.
Who's quiet.
Dude, if you're not listening, if you're not a good listener as a
you
deacon,
can't be a deacon.
no, I mean, come on.
You want kind, compassionate, listening people who are empathetic.
Yep.
That you're not looking for the strong leader
No,
that's going to lead your church.
Yeah.
You're looking for people who don't love your people.
Amen.
You know,
That's
in
right.
Acts 6, when they select those to serve the tables, they selected men just like that.
Yeah.
Men who were great servants, who
That's
loved
right.
people, who you found meaning in doing this.
Yes.
They didn't think it was menial.
Yep.
You know, they didn't think, well, they thought it was important. So just look for those. I think even when we do deacon nominations, we talked earlier, I think sometimes people think, well, we got to look for somebody who's really sort of at the next level of biblical preaching or teaching or no, you don't.
No.
Someone that's the next
right.
level of love and compassion.
That's actually, that's
All
right.
right.
Here's the next one. So number 4 now, and this is really key. Pastors should build strong relationships with their deacons through regular communication, trust, and encouragement. I've seen it where I think sadly in a lot of churches, the pastor doesn't know what to do with the deacons, and therefore there's not a lot of interaction. And I would say the pastors, like even at our church now, I am with the deacons at all their meetings. I help lead the deacon ministry as the lead pastor. Why? Well, one, I believe the deacon ministry is that important. I also think I don't want deacons to feel like they're not connected. You know what I mean? I think sometimes pastors go, we got our deacons, go for it, guys.
Right.
And there's not good communication. Again, think about the football team analogy. If we're going to win ball games, we've got to be tight. And the other thing is they need to know that I love them. And I'm thankful for them. And every month when we get together and I get to get in that room and hug every one of those guys and just boast on them and say, man, God's using you guys. They need to hear that. Because a lot of the work of a deacon is thankless work.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
And behind the scenes.
And behind the scenes, and nobody sees it. And they're not doing it for that, but it means the world to them, pastor. If you know, man, one of your chief responsibilities as a leader is to encourage and just care for your deacons, whatever they need. Because they've got their own brokenness, man. They've got their own families, and they need stuff. Sometimes churches treat deacons, well, sadly, the way they treat pastors, almost as they're fine, they've got it all together. Well, that's not true. So how are you caring for your deacons?
And plus, the way that you encourage them is the way that stimulates their ministry.
Yeah.
You know? Because if you're encouraging them in this particular act, this job that they do, this ministry that they serve in, what you're saying is this is what counts.
Right.
What you're doing
Yep.
is the right thing.
Yep.
And it's that positive reinforcement of that particular ministry, as opposed to saying, no, you shouldn't be doing that. Don't do this.
Yes.
You got to
Yep.
stop doing that.
Yep.
And pastors, don't miss this. Do not miss this. What Mark just said, he goes to the deacons meeting, which I'm sure, listening to this podcast, most of us in normative sized churches, we're going to go to the deacons meeting. Now, Mark's church is not a normative sized church. It'd be quite obvious. He could have the executive pastor go. But most of us are single staff pastors, and we're going to go to the deacons meeting. But even when you go to the deacons meeting, do you go like it's a committee meeting?
Yes.
Like it's a board meeting?
Right.
Or do you go, like Mark said, and just embrace every one of these guys, spend some time with them, love on them. It's a fellowship time.
That's right. That's right.
We can't wait to get together.
Totally.
It's like when the four of us come together for this podcast. It's not like some kind of a formal meeting.
Yeah.
It's like we can't wait to see
That's
each
right.
other.
That's right.
And so
That's
as
right.
a pastor, you walk into that deacons meeting not feeling like it's you against them.
Yeah.
And you know, frankly, maybe there's a culture of that. You got to break through that culture.
Totally.
And you break through that culture not only in the meeting by greeting each of them and speaking to each of them, but
Yeah.
spending time with them somewhere other than in that meeting.
Dude, totally.
If they like to fish, you go fish. If they
Yep.
like to hunt, you go hunt. And the best thing is, if you don't know how to hunt,
Yep.
then you can become their best buddy if you just be honest with them and go, dude, I don't know anything about hunting.
Yeah.
Could you teach me?
That's good,
They
man.
would love to
That's
teach
good.
you. Or I don't know anything about raising cattle. Could I come out and watch you feed some cattle
Yep.
and brand some
Yep.
cattle? They would love to do that.
I'd love to do it.
They would. And the worst thing you could do is act like you know as much as they do.
Yeah.
But spend some time with them in their workplace, wherever they are. Become
Absolutely.
friends with them.
Absolutely.
And then when you walk in that deacons meeting, you're there with a group of friends.
Yes.
You have to do
I
that.
would say just practically every week you should take out one deacon every week for either lunch or do something like fish or whatever, but just get in the habit. Which deacon am I investing in this week? If you've got, 3 or 4 deacons, you might be like, well, man, every month? Yeah, every month. Once a week. And that whole point is to love them, encourage them, listen to them. How can I pray for you, brother? To laugh together. That's what you've got. You got to build that kind of camaraderie and that kind of team.
Absolutely.
The last
And
one,
but you have
yes.
to lean into the awkward too,
You for sure, man.
because it's not easy.
Dude, a lot of I'll be honest, we have 30 deacons in our church, okay? I mean, some of these guys, and I love them all. And some of these guys have got the weirdest hobbies, and I don't know, but they love it. And it's like marriage. You learn to love it too. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And you learn, and you go, and we got some guys who are into race cars, and I'm not a race car guy, but man, I'll go and watch some car. Some
And
races
it's like
with it.
anything else in a replant or revitalization. You may inherit some deacons who don't fit any of these qualities or any of these categories, but to boot them out is going to cause more problems than it's worth. So just plant some new ones in there. And you're there for a long haul. And over time,
That's right.
slowly change that deacon culture.
That's it.
You're probably not going to change a deacon culture overnight. You're not going to change the deacon culture overnight. They'll get rid of you and keep the deacons. But over time, as you bring in some new ones, bring them in correctly.
Yep.
And love the older ones as best you can.
That's right.
And do
That's
what you
right.
can with
Yep.
them, spend time with them, but just realize they are who they are.
Yep.
And they're not the future. The new ones are, and deal with it that
That's
way.
good, man. Last one.
I love this.
Number 5, and you were hinting at this, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Deacons thrive when they are given meaningful ministry ownership and opportunities to lead and service. So in other words, this is the last step of leadership development, is unleashing them to actually do the work of the ministry. Your deacon ministry will not flourish if you as a pastor are a micromanager, tight, saying do this, don't do that. You've got to trust the Spirit who's gifted them and let them go. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I don't believe that you can. First of all, you can't be a deacon if you're not called to be a deacon. Well, if you're called to be a deacon, then that means that you buy into the fact that you have a ministry to accomplish. And if I don't let you accomplish that ministry, or I micromanage it, then what I'm saying is that you aren't really qualified, or you're not really good enough to be a
that's
deacon.
true. That's true.
And so your deacons are going to make mistakes, but they learn from making those mistakes if they're the right person. And so the whole idea, I think, is to make them understand you have this ministry. You're not. This is your. It's not my job to be the deacon. It's your
That's
job
right.
to be the deacon.
Yep.
And so, what does that mean? Tell me what that means. Tell me how you're taking ownership. And you've got to listen to those guys. You've got to listen to your deacons. I mean, they are telling you where the ministry of the church is going. And if you're not listening to them, then you're not really understanding where the church is going.
Man, that's so good.
And we talked earlier in another podcast about developing deacons. Take some of these guys with you on hospital visits
Yes.
and on rest home visits, even funerals. Ask a layman, hey, we got this funeral coming up, and would you ride with me to the cemetery and just see how they relate to people who
love
are grieving, relate to people who are ill, relate to people who need benevolence. take them and see if they have a sort of a hunger for that, if they find some meaning in that. And then also that's a teaching moment. You can talk to them about the hospital visit we just made, or about how we dealt with that grieving widow, and begin to teach them. You're going to have to instruct them, and develop them. You're going to have to spend the time. As we talked again in an earlier podcast, you can't just elect them and go, now it's all your job.
Right.
In fact, the first few years, it may be double work on you, because you got to help them do their job.
That's right.
And train them. But eventually, as Dan said, if they own it and it's theirs, then it frees you up.
Totally.
But that's not going to happen overnight.
No, it doesn't. It takes time.
It takes time.
That's really
good.
good.
But it's your job as a pastor
That's
to
right.
invest in these men.
And you should want to.
You should want
to
develop them.
That's right. That's right.
All right. Cool. Are we done?
No, because
Oh.
I think that the whole idea is that you've got to fall in love with your deacons.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
I mean, if you don't love them,
Amen.
if you don't love them, you don't.
Well,
you
they're
can't-
not
To paraphrase
you can't lead them.
To paraphrase Jared Wilson, you got to love the deacons you have, not the deacons you
don't
wish you
have.
had.
Yeah, you wish you had.
A big thanks to the North American Mission Board for making this possible for us to do this every week. We do this a couple of times a week, and we love doing this. It's a joy to be able to talk about these things, because not only do we benefit from it and we grow from it, but we hope that it makes a difference in your ministry also. And also thank you to Fellowship West, this church that has invited us to come in and use their podcast facilities.
Here in Kansas City, Kansas.
Here in Kansas City, Kansas.
It's a replanted church, a very successful replanted
And
church.
it is. Oh, it is
Very
successful.
successful. Very
Things
cool.
Things are happening here, and we'll be talking more about that. Hopefully, talking to Pastor Clow also coming
Yes.
up in a future podcast.
We will.
Thank you, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thanks for joining us today on Revitalize and Replant with Mark Clifton and Mark Hallock. This podcast is brought to you by the North American Mission Board, where we help dying or struggling churches regain health for the glory of God and the good of their communities. If you found this podcast helpful, don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. To learn more about becoming a replant pastor or to explore revitalization resources for your church, subscribe to our monthly newsletter at churchreplanters.com.